with that, our final presentation is from Michael Farkas, and he is CEO of Car Charging Group, which is working with Central Parking right now to install EV charging infrastructure. Michael, if you're on the line, I'd like to hand it off to you. I should also say, sorry to interrupt, but we're getting some comments about sound quality. I want to apologize for that because I know that some people are having difficulty hearing. But Michael, so while you present, please speak up as loud as you can. Thanks.
Okay. Do you hear me?
I can hear you. Maybe
Hello?
It's a little bit louder, though.
Okay. First slide, please. Hello?
You're good to go.
Okay, perfect. Hello, this is Michael Farkas. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Car Charging Group, and we are an EV charging services. Okay, next slide. We're headquartered in Miami, and we are one of the largest and fastest growing EV charging services company in America. Our mission is to establish a nationwide infrastructure of charging facilities throughout the United States and provide a service where the EV owner can charge their car anyplace, anytime, anywhere, in their own personal residential facilities, multifamily residential, as well as commercial properties, retail, and so on. Our strategy is to be a first-in strategic partner with businesses, municipalities, shopping malls, parking garages, multifamily residential and commercial properties, and we're looking for the markets that are going to have high concentration of EVs. We currently have relationships and installations with Central Parking, USA Parking, Mall of the Americas, Icon Parking in New York. We did Simon Properties in southern Florida here, and Aventura Shopping Mall. And we're constantly signing new deals. We have Rapid Parking as well. And what we did was we try to isolate the areas where we believe cars are going to be parked. We deal with all types of landowner partners, from shopping malls, multifamily residential, all the way down to commercial, retail, and then entertainment areas. Obviously, you can look at our website and see what we do. Next slide, please.
Okay.
These are the discussion points that I wanted to really bring in front of everyone today. The process of installing an EV charging station is just not as simple as we all think. There's visibility that we need to take into consideration, and the actual cost of the installation itself. And sometimes you need to balance the two, because visibility does end up costing a lot of money. And many times you want to have the charging station at the front of the garage. And unfortunately, the electrical service is either on a different floor or all the way in the back. So you have to balance out whether or not it's effective to put it in a visible location or to have it for usage. And you really have to take into consideration those numbers. And each type of location needs different types of installations. There are wall mounts, bollards, pole mounts, and each facility is different, needing different type of technology. Both of we use the Coulomb technology units, and each of those units are linked through a cell phone, AT&T or GSM or CDMA. And certain times you have to test in each of those locations to make sure that those signals work so that you can communicate. And when we have subterranean installations, it ends up becoming costly because of having to have that unit communicate. But it is a necessity. The only units that we install are units that can communicate, that have the ability to charge the customer, or let's say to bill the customer for their charging services. Seeing the presentations that you guys had beforehand, while I think it's a great thing, ultimately we can't give away electricity for free. And others also mentioned the cost of electricity is inconsequential. It's very small. It's minimum. Go put an EV charging station in Hawaii. Go put an EV charging station in New York City. Your electricity costs are not as minimal as you think, and they end up adding up quite considerably. When you have one charging station there, that's great. But when 10, 15, 20% of your cars are there and they're drawing down on that electricity, guess what? You're going to be paying for that. So the entire model of going ahead and providing free electricity, it will not work long term because it's just too much of a cost. So, I appreciate while giving away free electricity will, it'll definitely spur the market and, allow things to happen. But ultimately, it's not a very valid model, and it won't work. And our business model is predicated on the fact that people are accustomed for paying for their fueling costs, and they will do so in the future. And we anticipate being able to offer them electricity, as I mentioned, in any location that they need along highways, at their shopping malls, at their supermarkets, and even in short order at their own personal residential homes. So we look at this as a profitable business. We believe that all of these governmental grants that we see out today, they're going to end. It's not a viable model. As you can see, the government is not a place that should be investing money. The investment public is the one who should be investing the capital. That's the American way. We are not a socialistic government, and I am strongly against all of the government financing in this space, and I think ultimately it's putting people in this business who really shouldn't be running businesses. That's an altogether different conversation. And again, I balance it out, and I'm not someone who's not going to take advantage of certain grants and things that are out there as my competitors are, but ultimately I think if the free market allowed this business to grow, it would grow on its own. Logical for pre-wiring of locations. Due to the ever-changing technology and the ever-changing units that are coming out there today, Coulomb, tomorrow GE, next day Coulomb, who knows where they're going to be. But ultimately, the technology changes. What I think is a very good idea is to have conduit built in when you build these buildings, but that ultimately you pull the wire that's necessary for the installation. It would be great that if we had conduit to each and every location, each and every parking spot. That would be a tremendous boon for our market because it would definitely egg things along. Being able to just put in a charging station and have that accessibility of the conduit there would really reduce the price of installation and will make our job a lot easier and a lot more cost effective. Strategies for maximizing EV charging turnover. This is actually a very big issue, especially because the way people are set up is they almost have to pay for time that their car is sitting there, although they might not be charging. It is very important that we, as an industry, figure out a way to be able to move these cars